Hello and welcome back to Egypt. Today we are in Luxor. Luxor is about an hour flight away from Cairo, and we are here because this is ancient Thebes, which was the capital of ancient Egypt. So what is here at ancient Thebes? This is the place that all of the kings and queens are buried, but now we're at a very special place. We are at the temple of Hatshepsut, and she is a queen that my friend Hoda is very, very interested in. So we're going to take a little stroll around here, and Hoda's going to join us in a second to tell us a little bit about it. So basically, when you think about all of the kings, I just want to put you back in time. You have to go back to 3000 BC. Okay, so you are 3,000 years before the time of Christ, before the time of Augustus. That's when the history here starts. So when I just want to keep reminding you that the time that we think of Antony and Cleopatra and we think of all of that, that was at the end. That was when Egypt was over. The primary time is going to be between, let's say, 2000 and 1000 BC for some of these really great works. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you again to the lovely Hoda.
Hello everyone, welcome to the temple of my beloved Queen Hatshepsut, a lady that I personally admire. Queen Hatshepsut is one of a kind, a lady that was able to rule Egypt 1300 BC. She did not just rule the country for 22 years, one of very few ladies that managed to rule the country, but she was a successful ruler. She had lots of achievements. This beautiful temple, which is one of a kind, a terrace temple, 3 different levels, commemorating all her achievements, is here on the west bank of Luxor. Most of the work at Karnak Temple was started by Queen Hatshepsut. Luxor Temple was started by Queen Hatshepsut. The most beautiful and the biggest obelisk that we have in Egypt, 340 tons, was also made by Queen Hatshepsut. A lady that was trying to change the cosmos. A lady, she's a rebel. She destroyed all the old ideas of just males being able to rule the country. She was very smart. She was loved by the people that were surrounding her. That's why they decided to support her. If you ever decided to come to Egypt, I would highly recommend you visiting the temple of Queen Hatshepsut. Difficult her name? It is hot chicken soup in a nice
Hot chicken soup. Hatshepsut.
hat, like hat that we wear,
Yeah.
suit that we wear, and hat ship that we take, and suit that we wear.
There we go. Easy to remember. And when did she live?
We're talking roughly 1250 before Christ. So this place that we're visiting now, it's almost 300 to 3,200 years old. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
She
So
was a daughter of a king, but that was not enough for her to be the ruler of the country. That's why the priests surrounding her, they had to make up stories that she was able to record on the walls of the temple to say that she is the only daughter of the supreme God and the only God of the country, God Amun-Ra. That's why she's the only one that was or had the right to rule the country.
So where shall we go? Where do you want to go?
I would highly
Shall we go up?
like
Yeah,
to
let's go.
to
All
the
right.
Divine Birth
All right.
section.
Okay.
So what Queen Hatshepsut was trying to do is that yes, her husband died. She wasn't able to rule the country by herself. So she started as a co-regent, whereas her little stepson ruling the country. Then 2 years later, she thought that she's confident enough and she can rule the country. But that was not enough. They had to convince the commoners that she has a right. And the people that were able to do this were the priests. The priests had so much power on Egyptian people, so the priests made up a story for Queen Hatshepsut, saying that Hatshepsut is not the daughter of Thutmose, the first only. No, she is the daughter of Amun-Ra. The story of the divine birth of Queen Hatshepsut is all recorded on the walls of the temple. The temple did suffer from a lot of damage. So try to lower your expectations when you come here. because of this damage. The damage actually is not something new. The damage was done during the ancient time by the rulers, the male rulers, who came later on, and they did not like the idea that the country was once ruled by a female. So they just chiseled out her figures from the wall. So if you ever come here and you see that something is missing, that was done by the early pharaohs, not something new. So we have here the divine birth section that tells the whole story of her divine birth, and then we have another section that was dedicated to with the big crowd over there, that was dedicated to Anubis, the embalming god, because he was once buried here. To the other section of to the other side of this section, we have two other section. One that tells the story of Queen Hatshepsut trading with the people of the Red Sea when she did send an expedition to bring incense and some goods from there. And we have a third section that was dedicated to the cow goddess because she was worshipped. But the main god that was meant to be worshipped around this area was God Amun-Ra. And as she thought that she is the daughter of Amun-Ra, she dedicated the whole temple for Amun-Ra. So if we ever go to the third level of the temple, you see that everything is just related to Amun-Ra, her father.
Which also is a good point, because as I'm pointing the camera here, you mentioned earlier to our group, out there in the distance, that's where you see Karnak, which is the temple we're going to see tomorrow. And you know, I went to architecture school, and that was one of the highlights of our study was Karnak. It's a very important temple. She built it in homage to her dad, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or her theoretical dad.
Yes. Yeah. And both temples were built at the same same direction.
Same direction.
So the same direction. So the most inner part of this temple, which is considered to be the most sacred part, the sanctuary, is at the same axe or the same direction of the Holy of the Holies, or the sanctuary of God Amun-Ra at Karnak.
Yeah, so we have a whole complex here, Valley of the Kings, the Queens, and then Hatshepsut's temple is actually a separate thing that you go and you visit on the same axis as the long street that goes over to Karnak. So just to give you a sense of where we are here in Luxor. So anything else we want to talk about here? Because I know that Hoda loves Hatshepsut. I don't know if we have the signal, but let's see if we can walk up a little closer. We may not be able to take you guys too close because we might lose a signal. So those creatures up there, what are those?
Those are Queen Hatshepsut.
Those are?
Yeah, one of her ways. People might get confused because actually the statues here are for a male. Yeah, that was one of her ways to represent herself as a male, wearing the beard, the beard and the royal headdress, to convince people that she can rule them. So, but she never forgot that she's a female, as she is always showing her feminine features with a small nose, small lips, and beautiful almond eyes. So all the statues over there, they're for Queen Hatshepsut, representing herself as a male.
So it's basically like not prehistoric, but ancient social media.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like ancient Instagram showing us, she's showing you who she wants you to believe she is. So just a fascinating story. You know, in history, there are so few stories about women rulers, even if we know for sure that there were. There's even speculation there was a female pope. And unfortunately, in later times, those histories have been deleted. As Hoda had earlier mentioned, we're going to go through, and if we can, we'll take you to see a few of these paintings, but we don't see Hatshepsut because she was erased.
Yes, exactly. It wasn't just that they erased her figures from the walls, they even erased her name from the list of kings and queens, as if she did never exist. The good news is that we have her mummy. We know how long she lived. We know that she died in her 50s. We know that she used to be diabetic. She had some dental problems, and she died because of a cancer. And that's all due to the new technology and examining the mummies and identifying her mummy.
Wow, that's cool. So if you caught a little snippet of it on Instagram the other day, we did go to the new Egyptian Civilization Museum, and I saw Hatshepsut. I said hello to her and let her know how much I admire her. So let's see.
I'm not quite sure if if the lightning is good enough, but you can see that the walls are badly destroyed. And if we look to this side, maybe a little bit, yes, we can see like a male and a female. They are sitting opposite to each other. Actually, this is representing Queen Hatshepsut, mother, and King and God. Yes, and God Ammon. They are touching hands, which means that they're having a good time. They're having an intimate relationship, and then we see Ammon and the Khnum, the God who creates human beings. So basically, Ammon is ordering Khnum to create Queen Hatshepsut.
Look at this, amazing.
So
I just want to point out this guy's smile. We were just admiring their smiles. Romans never smile. The Egyptians
the
smiled.
mother of Queen Hatshepsut. She's the one in the middle here, being surrounded by different deities, and she seems to be pregnant.
Yep.
You can see her with like her belly in maybe 4th month of pregnancy.
So the colors here are pretty faint. Hoda was mentioning earlier that this part of the temple was under sand for centuries. The upper level was used as a Coptic Christian monastery, and then this was later excavated. You may think, well, this must just be how all Egyptian art and tombs are because they're 4,000 years old. But actually, we're going to see at the Valley of the Queens, there are some that are almost perfectly restored, almost perfectly preserved. And if you look up, you can see some of this incredible color that we are going to see in other places. Now, one of the things I want you to remember as you look at this, when I go to Karnak tomorrow with Hoda, you need to remember all of the carvings you see on the walls would have been painted. You can see the kind of remnants of it appear, but also just look at the crazy colors: turquoise, blue, red, yellow. So it was a very colorful society, wasn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. And they used to make all their colors out of natural materials, like whether it's like from stones, for example. So they would get the red from the iron oxide, they would get the green from malachite, they would get the blue color from turquoise and lapis lazuli. Those are the different sort of colors that they used to use. The outer lines or the outlines of the figures used to be drawn using red ink, and if there was any sort of like correction for mistakes that could be done by the artist, that would be corrected with different type of ink, which is the black ink.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the next section and show them Anubis.
Okay, we'll go see Anubis. So in the meantime, I just want to comment that being a person who spends an awful lot of time around ancient Greek and ancient Roman architecture and art, this blows my mind because we have to keep reminding ourselves. This stuff was being done between 1,000 and 2,000 years, even earlier, up to 3,000 years before the Romans had anything. The Greeks came here and raided tombs, and they were basically like looking at ancient art. They were ancient art appreciators when they came here. The Greeks, the ancient Greeks. So just keep that in mind.
I want you to use the camera to the ceiling here, so they can see with us all the beautiful blue color and red color, and the cartouche, which is like the oval shape over there. Queen Hatshepsut name is being erased. This section was dedicated to Anubis, who is the jackal-headed god, the embalming god. He's sitting here on his throne, and right in front of him a huge massive table that full of offerings that were meant to be given to him. Hatshepsut was the one that was to give the offerings, but we could easily, if we look here to the walls, you would see nothing. So Queen Hatshepsut figure is being totally erased, removed. Nothing on the walls, just behind the gentleman here, nothing. Here, it's been chiseled out as if she was never here. Anubis is over there as well, with all the beautiful orange and yellow and black color. So yeah, that's just like part of the shrine that was once dedicated to Anubis, the embalming god.
Wow. Well, I don't know about you, but first of all, Hoda is an amazing historian and has a great way of explaining things, but it's so inspirational to come and see that, well, actually, nothing changes. I guess that's the story that we're talking about here. She was even telling a story about how there was graffiti that was gossip about Hatshepsut having an affair with one of her ministers. So, you know, people never change, do they?
Exactly. Like Hatshepsut would never get married because she knew that if she gets married, her husband, their husband, is going to be the king of the country. So she just maybe decided just to have an affair, but everybody knew about it. They couldn't prove it. They left graffiti showing both the queen and her high vizier sitting in mood, like in an intimate relationship or in intimate positions, just to tell everyone, yeah, we know what's happening.
Yeah, so gossip, we think that that's the plague of our time. No, gossip has been the plague of humanity for so many years. So we're going to start heading back, but what I thought I would do is just let you walk along with us and just see how fine some of these columns are. Just remember, if you've been to Paestum, for example, you know, you think that those are very, very ancient because they're from, 5th, 6th century BC. We're talking about something much older here. And it's almost difficult to understand how advanced the Egyptians were for their time. I mean, this is incredible. Just the craftsmanship, and I mean, this is what's left, if you can imagine what this looked like when it was new. So the Hatshepsuts up there would have been painted also, don't you think?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, okay.
The faces would have been white reddish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And just the scene of this, it looks like a movie, to be honest. So walk with us for just a few minutes here, and we're going to turn around so you get a little bit better view. So it's on 3 levels. But as we're walking, and I'm pointing straight ahead, you can see that this is not the only thing in the Valley of the Kings and Queens. You can see that there are tombs everywhere. Hoda was just mentioning over here, some of these little holes in the mountain are tombs that have not been explored in a while, huh?
Exactly. We have over 4,000 tombs that were discovered, and so many yet to be discovered as well. We're right now, to give you an idea, we're just at the back side of the Valley of the Kings. So every single spot of this mountain, the mountain of the Valley of the Kings, is being used either by kings, by queens, by nobles, by workers, and we don't know, like every single time that you dig, you find something under the ground. This place, in particular the Valley of the Kings, is being used as a royal cemetery or final resting place of kings for over 500 years. So we don't know actually what to expect, and we never know what's hidden under the sand.
5,000 years, I think you meant.
Yes. Did I say 500?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean 5,000.
So anyway, the point, and the reason I wanted to point out the 5,000 is that is...
No, I mean, we're talking about the Valley of the Kings.
Yeah.
No, the Valley of the Kings was used only for 500 years.
Oh, only 500.
Only 500 years.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is the New Kingdom
Okay.
period. Yeah, but we have around this area.
Yeah.
We have tombs that date back to Middle Kingdom. We have tombs that earlier than the Valley of the Kings.
Wow, that's really super incredible. So this is kind of the thing that blows my mind about Egypt, and why I really would encourage you all to consider putting this on your travel list, is that it's a scale of time you can't find anywhere else. I don't know of any other place in the world that you can find what you find in Egypt. I mean, okay, prehistoric stuff, dinosaurs, things like that maybe, but really intelligent, thoughtful civilization with advancements. The Egyptians were the first.
I would agree, 100% agree with you. Yeah, you admire how advanced those people were. If you relate it to their time, they were more advanced than anybody else.
Wow.
And that's why they made for us such beautiful and everlasting civilization.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to give you the money shot now. As we've been talking, you can see that the temple is growing behind us. So I'm going to turn around and give you the great shot. And look how absolutely majestic this is. The most impressive temple, in my opinion, of all of ancient Egypt, built for a queen. Well, she built it for herself, which is something I appreciate very much.
I agree.
Yep, so coming to you Live from Luxor here at the temple of Hatshepsut. Thank you so much, darling Hoda, who is just the queen of historical information here in Egypt. We're going to keep on exploring Egypt with her for another few days. Tomorrow is going to be Karnak, which will be fun. And then I'm also going to compile some videos to post to YouTube later of some of the tombs that I can't live stream from, but I can show you the interior of some of these beautiful tombs. So we'll see. How do we say see you later in Arabic?
Ma salama.
Ma salama.
Ma salama.
Peace be with you.
Peace be with you.
Peace be with you.